Live here.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
All right, let me just first say that I usually do not do a video on Friday morning or schedule anything for Fridays because something always happens on Friday afternoon. It's like
Friday
clockwork.
document dump.
Document dump Fridays or court case dump Fridays, document dump Fridays. Okay, so this is what is going on. There is a case, and I'm going to share the case here. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to share the whole entire damn thing from the Firearms Policy Coalition. I believe I am going to do that. Maybe I didn't bring it up. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up here. Well,
in the meantime,
let me
I'll
just say this.
Hi to people.
Oh, by the way, Polymerity has birch frames, buy one get one free, and you can also get a jig from DLD After Dark.
DLD
This
hardware.
Yeah, DLD hardware. This is
by DLD.
Banc. I'm going to put it in there. This is Banc versus Brown. This is the document right here. Basically, before Bruin happened, there was this case called Banc versus Brown. It was filed against Maryland by the Firearms Policy Coalition, FPC. It went all the way up to the circuit court. The circuit court said, hey, Sullivan bans are constitutional. Nothing you can do about it because we are using this pesky thing called interest balancing. Interest balancing or intermediate scrutiny is no longer a thing. So before this happened, it went up to the Firearms Policy Coalition filed a writ of certiorari with the Supreme Court. Basically, what that is a petition asking the Supreme Court to hear the case. Well, the Supreme Court did not consider the case until after the Bruin decision. So instead of taking the case and ruling on it from the standpoint of Bruin, what SCOTUS did was say, we're going to kick it back down to the First Circuit Court of Appeals, which is located in Richmond, Virginia. They're really, really anti-gun, and have them rehear the case. So about 18 months ago, that's when the original decision came out from the First Circuit. Ever since Bruin, they've been just sitting on it. Haven't done anything with it. Just like, we'll get to it when we get to it. Now, ruling, not a ruling, but a order. And the order says that we will now hear the case. And they're going to hear it en banc hearing. En banc means the full bench.
So en banc means the full court.
Yeah, because originally it was argued in front of a 3-judge panel. And the three, and this is going to the First Circuit. Fourth Circuit's so anti-gun, it's crazy. So they went directly to the Supreme Court because you don't have to ask for an en banc. So they sent it back down, and the First Circuit decided to do an en banc hearing, and now the judges will go ahead and hear it en bancly in an en banc setting. So the next
So-
available session, which it doesn't say on the order, but I know it's March 19th through 22nd. So it'll probably be between March 19th and 22nd is when they will hear it. I know that because the Maryland shall issue case was granted en banc yesterday, and they stated that the next available session is between March 19th and 22nd. So I believe that this will be in the same time frame. I believe it's going to be between the March 19th to 22nd. I'm not sure which days it's going to be heard on, but there'll be 2 Maryland cases dealing with guns in front of the Fourth Circuit en banc.
So we had the now is this the same level? Was it the Illinois Supreme Court that said, "Oh, by the way, yeah, assault weapon ban is fine with us. We're good with that."
That's a state level court.
Right.
This is a
So this is
federal
a
circuit
federal
court.
court, but still, it's a left-leaning federal court.
Oh, it's a very left-leaning federal court, but I think that they might have to
But-
rule for this because the Supreme Court already sent it back down saying, "Hey, you need to look at this through
John,
the eyes of Bruin."
I'm willing to put money on this. You're wrong, because the state Supreme Court in Illinois figured a way to weasel word around Bruin.
Yeah, but that wasn't sent back down. The Supreme Court sent this case back down and said, "You got this wrong because you used intermediate scrutiny." And I mean, they can always rule, but I think they delayed this for so long because they
Yeah.
know the
So
Supreme Court basically told them this is what it is.
your opinion is they milked this long enough for the delay. They're gonna have to. They already got kind of their PP whacked by the Supreme Court a little bit. That you don't think they're gonna go back for really big bad whacking.
I can always say that I can never tell you what the court is going to do. I can say if it did not get remanded from the Supreme Court down to the circuit court, I would be less optimistic than what I
Right.
am.
All right. Logical. Yeah.
But I am more optimistic because the Supreme Court sent it back down instead of just denying cert. I mean, if the Supreme Court was cool with what they did, they would have just denied cert. But they remanded it back.
Yes. Yeah. All right. You're right.
It's just like the assault weapon ban challenge in California. But what the circuit court did there is they remanded it down to the district court. So we're lucky that didn't happen here. And then they went ahead and Judge Benitez ruled again the same exact way he did. And now the circuit court stayed his preliminary injunction, and that's being delayed.
So
But this one, they're going to hear it.
now, all right. So Joe Biden just said we can't, and I got to say I'm really appreciative of the president watching our live stream. That you can't count on Banc. The Ninth Circuit has actually been more constitutional on their rulings than
Than
they
the
have in
Fourth
the
Circuit?
past.
Yeah, they have been, but the First Circuit is actually to the left of the Ninth Circuit. Which doesn't give me, I mean, but like I said, this was remanded down to him by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court specifically says use Bruin. Now, I have a theory of what they're going to do.
Okay.
If they decide to go against Bruin. And I said this yesterday. En banc means the full bench will hear it. Well, like what I said yesterday. What I said yesterday is I believe that if they rule against FPC in this case, that they will use 1868, the ratification date
Oh,
of
for
the
sure.
14th Amendment, instead of the Second Amendment, instead of 1791, because there's
Right.
Jim Crow laws. It's after the Civil War. They don't want people that were formerly enslaved to get handguns or any type of guns. I made the same mistake yesterday. Any type of guns. So they passed a bunch of Jim Crow laws, racist Jim Crow laws. So I think that I know Maryland's probably going to cite a bunch of racist Jim Crow laws and try to argue that it's the 14th Amendment ratification date and
Damn
not the
that
Second
14th
Amendment.
Amendment. They find a way to weasel that into everything.
Because they can't. If a Second Amendment, I mean, the Second Amendment ratification date, it's a losing cause. They just can't win. So
And
it's going to be
there's
an interesting mix.
there's probably activist groups out there. I'm sure the Bloomberg groups are, quickly typing away with their attorneys and putting words in all of these justices' mouth.
Now, I bet you there's going to be a lot of amici. There's going to be
Amicus
a lot of
briefs.
amici. Yeah.
Would make sense. I'm always shocked at Bruin is so cut and dry. No intermediate scrutiny, no global no-go zones. Clarence Thomas wrote that in a very brilliant way. I mean, what a smart man. He should be like president of Harvard or something like that.
Oh, you're in Anne Arundel County. I'm kind of near you, Craig B. And Virginia side. Remember, kids, gun control has always been racist as F, and yes, it has.
Yeah. It's amazing to me that once again, the left, the party of the Ku Klux Klan, they're going to we can ban guns because of racism. We did it before. We're doing it again.
I actually have something to say with it. I agree with Fetterman on this issue. Just look up what he said about that. I can't believe I keep on agreeing with Fetterman in the last few days.
Did he get the neural chip or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe recover from
Did
his
Elon Musk
somewhere.
program the chip in his head?
I don't know, but yeah, but this is good news because this case has just been sitting there forever.
Well, how long can a court delay something? I mean, how?
Well, they were getting to the point where I think that they knew if they didn't act on it, that they were going to go back to the Supreme Court and say, "Hey,
That
look,
the Supreme Court would just rule."
Yeah, we're not getting any type of.
Okay, that makes sense because it seems to me that they were going to drag their feet as long as possible, and a right delayed is a right denied, and they're good at that.
Yep. Yeah. It's definitely interesting. But we're gonna see what happens here. They've been stalling, and I don't think that they thought that they can stall anymore.
Right.
So
without risking the Supreme Court just making a decision that's gonna black and blue them.
yeah, not only that, but let's say they lose. It's going to be like in DC, the shall issue case in DC, when the circuit court for the District of Columbia ruled that you had to be shall issue. Other states begged DC not to appeal to the Supreme Court because that would knock it down. Eventually, it did with Bruin, but it was about 10 years later. So then that's a friend of mine that actually filed that case.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy in what courts you want your case to be heard in and what courts you don't want your case to be heard in.
Well, yeah, they've always judge shopping, but in that case, they didn't want to go to the Supreme Court because it would do a nationwide thing. Where the circuit court only applied to DC.
Because prior to Bruin, didn't New York retract something before it got to the Supreme Court, so they didn't get
Yes,
a
yes, that
global
was a
ruling.
law that said that you cannot take a fire if you live in the city, you couldn't transfer a firearm from inside the city outside the city, or from outside the city to inside the city.
Wow.
So that they changed the law, and that was mooted. That was a New York Pistol Rifle Association case as well. That was mooted, and the reason why they changed the law is to moot it so it wouldn't affect nationwide. So, but I don't think I think Maryland will appeal even if they do lose. I know for sure as hell if Firearm Policy Coalition loses that they're going back to SCOTUS. So let's say, well, if the Fourth Circuit Court rules for that, it doesn't mean that other circuits can't disagree, but there's more of a chance of other circuits saying, hey, we got case law now, we're going to go by that. But it still gives certain places like California an out with the Ninth Circuit.
Right.
But if no matter what happens, this is probably going up to SCOTUS. But also, it's going to take forever to get a decision. It's going to take forever. So this is by means not going to happen like after March. They're not going to, from the bench, say the decision's done. Assault weapons bans are dead. They're not going to say that. It's going to take months and months and months to get a written court order. And then what they might do, even if they do rule for Firearms Policy Coalition, they might say, hey, we're going to stay this and we're going to stay our own decision until the Supreme Court can decide whether to grant en banc or not. Not en banc, sorry, or register certiorari or not.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Craig B.
Could be. I mean, there's a bunch of strategy here, and I guess there's a way for them to delay granting everybody their right to whatever firearm they like.
Yeah. So they're gonna keep on delaying it. But what I'm telling you is, gun laws will die.
I mean, as long as we got to send Clarence Thomas some vitamins and a health club membership, and
Hell, I'll stand out in front of his house to protect the man.
I'll be there with you, buddy.
For free. So that is what's going on. And I thought you guys might want to know about this. And once again, I didn't make a video. I got another topic. I was like, I can do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait. I got an article coming out on AMLAN on the new NFA appeals process that the ATF announced today.
Oh,
In
okay.
case you get denied or delayed or whatever, they have a new appeals process. And that's directly related to Stan Bollier confronting them at SHOT Show last year. With the 88-day delay thing.
Right.
They have a new appeals process. Or if you get denied.
So you're talking about registering a suppressor, that kind of thing?
Yeah, any type of NFA stuff.
So, I mean, a suppressor, that should happen almost immediately, just like a 4470.
Yeah. That would go directly to SCOTUS. It's not going to happen. They can they can try to do it by executive fiat through the rulemaking process, but there's not going to be a precedent that says here's an executive order banning firearms.
So Biden, through executive order, he has this new committee to look at the epidemic, like in a health way, of gun violence, and good luck on enforcing it, whatever they come up with.
Yep, exactly. You can't enforce the unwilling, and if you look, especially when the unwilling is armed, if you look at what, like, for example, Illinois, less than 1% of the people that own AR-15s and like other semi-automatic rifles registered them.
What percentage?
Under 1%.
Under 1%.
Yeah,
So when do they start kicking indoors?
that they can't. That's the whole entire damn thing.
All right. I got to contend
Yeah,
with
but
Rip Curl readiness here. So Rip Curl readiness brings up a good point. He said,
Trudeau.
I would agree, but look at what Trudeau has done in Canada. Now, look, Canadians are the ones that are still on the British tit.
Well, it's not only
They
that they don't have a Second Amendment. They don't have a First Amendment. They don't
right,
have any. They don't have the protections.
right. We shot the British in the face and
Hi,
said,
Letty. What's
hell
up?
no.
Letty is the LD After Dark's little girl, and I did let everyone know that Polymer 80 has bridge frames. Buy one, get one free, and you can go to DLD Hardware to go ahead and get your jig, which is the only place where you can get your jig, and check out Freedom Crew University if you need help doing it.
Because they got the knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge. Yep. It's a run on Polymer 80's website too. But yeah, that is basically it, guys. Like I said, I didn't do a video today because something always breaks on Fridays. It's really freaking annoying. So, yep. If you want to follow Flying Rich, you can go ahead and, yeah, the 76% frames.
Yes, the 76% frame.
The bridge frame, 76% frames, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I do know that they're trying to take driver's license of people not surrendering their firearms owner's ID cards as well. I did hear that. That is scary, but what can we do? All right, and with that, we are going to get out of here. Thank you for watching. Be sure to follow Flying Rich at Flying Rich Firearms and Flying Rich over Freedom Freedom Crew University.
Freedom Crew University.
Freedom Crew
I'm
University.
wearing my God, Guns, and Trump shirt.
Oh. They teach you how to make a bunch of different really cool things. And if you're not subscribed, I would appreciate a subscription.
Subscribing?
Yeah, dude, I'm up to 49,751, closing in on that 50,000 mark. I would definitely appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll get it by next week. I've never built a bridge frame, so I'm not really sure what you exactly need.
Go to Freedom Crew University. They'll tell you how to do it.
All right, well, there you go. Freedom Crew University. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you, and I will see you guys sometime next week, probably. And the week after next week, it might be a little bit slow. We'll be out at SHOT. But really cool thing, on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, our normal time, we will be broadcasting from the Otis booth at SHOT. They have us a little podcasting booth, and we will be doing a live stream directly from the Otis booth, which should be really, really cool.
Yeah, and Walter Keller from Safety Harbor Firearms said he wanted to join us.
Yeah, he can definitely join us. With that, we are out of there. We're out of here. There's tons of ways you can support me down below in the description, so check out any of those ways. And with that, I thank you, and Freedom Crew.
Freedom Crew University. We can't tell you
CREW.
The whole URL because YouTube might get mad.
Yeah, Freedom Crew University.
With Ring Gun Builder.
CREW. All right, guys, that is it. And firearms owner's ID card, that is something for Illinois. They basically want you to not be able to drive if you don't turn over your firearms on your ID card. All right, guys, that's it. Yeah, read AmmoLand. Read AmmoLand. That's where I write for, and I have articles coming out. All right, guys, that is it. And one more thing, the article about Rock Creek Park. I think that's going to be some freaking good article. But the kill teams in Rock Creek Park.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
Yeah,
told me
that's
about that.
definitely interesting. All right, guys. I'll see you later.